Rappers who dissed Fantano after getting a bad review.
Rappers picked a fight with Anthony Fantano, with Lil Xan's call-out being one of the more aggressive. Back in 2018, he released his first studio album Total Xanarchy, which was universally reviewed as being pretty terrible. But no one was as harsh as Anthony Fantano, who began his review with a pretty brutal statement.
We're not even at the halfway point of the year yet, and this is one of the worst things I've heard all year.
Fantano proceeded to call Xan extremely stupid.
He sounds like he barely has a pulse half the time, and most of his songs don't really have much more than 10 words to their name because I don't think he could commit more than 10 words.
All right, let's do it like this. If you were in a situation where somebody had a gun held at you and said, you need to name 5 Lil Xan songs or you die, would you live or die? Let me know in the comments right now.
To memory for a single track.
With the album's only decent segments being made by other people.
Really, the only thing that gives any of these tracks credibility are the features.
Xanarchy was therefore given the infamous not good rating, being only the 17th album Fantano had ever given the title to.
Wow.
As explained by his Reddit, not good is worse than 0.
This project is a non-starter,
which Lil Xan understandably wasn't happy about, as when Fantano came up during a No Jumper podcast, Lil Xan was quick to offer his opinion.
10 out of 10. Needle drop?
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
Needle drop?
You don't like him? Oh yeah, he dissed you hard.
He then blamed Fantano for Lil Peep's death.
When it comes to rap, I think he has no say because he gave Lil Peep like a 1.
Really?
And then 2 weeks later, Lil Peep's dead. Lil Peep's a great artist.
Telling Fantano to stay.
All right, let's try this with Lil Peep too. If somebody asks you to name 3 Lil Peep songs or it's over, all right? Would you live or die? Let me know in the comments because this is like the reality. I'm here for the culture. You know, Fantano, he does music reviews on online on YouTube and he's known there, but why are these guys even coming up in the conversation?
His lane.
You can speak on alternative rock, all that weird Japanese you like. I know you got some weird fetishes, but please do not speak on rap.
With Post Malone also responding after getting a not good rating. Prior to it gaining over 9 billion streams, Fantano somehow concluded that Stoney was not good.
There's just nothing special about this album, in my opinion.
With the dislike ratio implying that the audience didn't agree. Damn, am I the only one who thinks this album is really good? Fantano then shared his review to his Twitter, where people again replied calling his rating inaccurate, with Post Malone retweeting these comments to his Twitter. He'd then reply directly, "But if you gave J. Cole a mediocre rating, then I'll take this as a compliment," to which Anthony responded, "See, every cloud has a silver lining," prompting Post to again respond, "And every Anthony Fantano has a dick tickler."
Whoa.
Fantano simply responded with a laughing emoji, but it seems Post Malone eventually got the last laugh, as during his review Anthony also foolishly stated,
I think he's really going to pan out as a one-hit wonder.
Post Malone proves his status as a one-hit wonder. I think he might have spoke too soon there. On his very next album, Post included the line, "Your new stuff sucks, I feel like Anthony Fantano," but it was Logic who spent half of a 2-minute song expressing how much he hated Fantano. Logic had been given 2 different scores of 1 out of 10 or lower.
Yo, Logic, why is, like, these are the certain rappers that should not be a part of anybody that's really in the hip-hop's conversation. Like, nobody's talking about Logic. I never was at an event and somebody like, yo, we really need to hear that Logic. Come on, bro. That never happened.
Which he'd admit always imposed a heavy mental burden.
He would review my music ever since my mixtapes, and it would always like f me up because he would always basically say how I wasn't like good enough.
The extent of which only being revealed when he'd put out La Donda roughly 2 years later. About halfway through the song, Logic begins an unexpected rant. "Anthony Fantano, you plaid shirt wearing mother effer. I used to hate you cause you'd crap on my music. I used to fantasize about murdering you, choking you to death." He was trying to make the point that the feedback was ultimately helpful, although it wound up making Fantano very uncomfortable, who'd spend 3 minutes speechless after playing the song on stream. He'd eventually respond by stating,
I don't know if I'm cool with that, you know? I mean, it's how you feel, but it's a little weird. Like, hey, my reviews aren't that big of a deal. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to hurt anybody.
After which Logic dressed as Anthony to review some of Anthony's reviews. Fantano and Logic's relationship is just downright confusing, but with Tyler the Creator it's much more cut and dry. Fantano was supportive of Tyler's earlier projects, so when he'd then give Cherry Bomb a pretty bad rating,
I'm feeling a strong 3-2-4 on this album,
Tyler wasn't super happy. He'd tweet, album been out for 30 hours, how can you review it? Listen to it for a while, with comments on the review agreeing. First time I listened to it, 3 out of 10. Now after 10 listens or so, 7 out of 10. However, even after listening to it for a while, Fantano never changed his mind about the album.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real about Tyler the Creator. I just listened to that new album and I'm not that impressed. I mean, we could talk about it. Y'all can let me know y'all opinion, but I'm not that impressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's sometimes just because it's different, don't mean it's good. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just so different, but that don't mean that it's so good.
Stating Cherry Bomb is still bad even 9 years later.
This record stinks. It still stinks. I can't stand it. I really can't. I feel like it's aged worse. It sounds worse than it did when it came out.
In the process, Fantano calls Cherry Bomb
the worst record in his discography.
But with the album's poor reception came a silver lining. Tyler explained in Flower Boy: A Conversation that after Cherry Bomb got terrible reviews, he knew his next album would have to be amazing, or his career was probably over. Learning from Cherry Bomb's mistakes, he'd put out Flower Boy, Igor, and Call Me If You Get Lost, which Fantano gave each at least 8 out of 10 or higher, aka a rating MGK could only ever dream of. In fact, Fantano had reviewed 4 of MGK's projects.
Any MGK fans in the comments, I always get a mixed review on MGK. It's like, sometimes I like his freestyles, but then I look and see that he just tattooed himself black. So it's just like, I don't know. What are y'all views on MGK, man?
Giving them scores of not good, 0, 1, and 3, with the not good rating on Tickets to My Downfall, prompting an indirect response from MGK on Twitter. One of his fans had written, I'm listening to Machine Gun Kelly's pop punk album. The Zoomers are gonna put this in the Rolling Stones Top 500 in 2030, to which MGK responded, and they will be right. Critics try to take jabs at all the bands your generation loved during their moment, and then understood its importance in hindsight. It's made from pure love. The universe can't deny that. Anthony, however, only continued to clown him, writing when the Queen died RIP. The Queen will never get to hear MGK save pop punk. When he and Trippie Redd then announced a collab mixtape, Fantano responded with the classic Star Wars meme, pushing MGK to the point of responding directly. 2 friends from Ohio made some songs that no one is forcing you to listen to. Insufferable, I know. Trippie Redd further added, who cares, dudes' reviews be trash, which likely contributed to their collab getting another bad rating.
I am feeling a 0 on this, a 0.
But for one of Young Lean's projects...
See, people gonna always complain when you honest, you know what I'm saying? I'm very honest. People know me for being very savage and all of that. You can look on the channel. Honesty is what it is, you know what I mean? I like somebody that's honest. I haven't seen anything that Fantano was wrong on, though.
Fantano bluntly refused to rate it. It was Unknown Death 2002, the review of which took a very strange turn.
My hand is bread. My hand is bread. My hands are bread. There's bread. My hands are bread.
After an unenthusiastic intro, Anthony spent the entire video simply eating bread, adding in the description, shoutouts carbs, yeast, enriched flour, salt, water, My Light Bakery, stating his favorite and least favorite songs were bread, rating the album bread out of 10. One comment theorized it's easy to tell that Anthony is saying he lost his mind because this album is so good and revolutionary. Also, the bread is a metaphor for how much money he thinks Young Lean is gonna make with his albums, although Fantano's lack of enthusiasm rather implied the opposite. Therefore,
now one artist was he wrong about except for Post Malone, and the rest of them is like, they lames, ain't nobody thinking about them. You gotta realize, just cause you an internet dude that be in your room somewhere, you know what I mean, talking about hip-hop, it's not gonna override the people that's in the culture.
When Young Lean was asked, what did you think about Anthony Fantano's review of your tape Unknown Death, he'd respond by stating, don't really care. He should stop wasting his time and do something creative himself instead. It's always more giving and fun. Then there was that time Anthony beefed with Drake. With compilations like The Needle Drop hating Drake for 20 minutes straight, you might call Fantano Fantano one of Drizzy's biggest haters. So when he'd randomly upload a video titled Drake Slid Into My DMs, everyone was curious.
Last night, in the dead of night, I was reached out to by one of the biggest voices in the music industry.
Fantano proceeded to show what he'd been sent. Anthony, it's Drizzy. I know we don't really say eye to eye about music, and that you're not the biggest fan of most of my albums. But it is what it is, you know. But I'm not messaging you about your videos. I'm actually messaging you because I found a really great vegan cookie recipe I'd love you to try.
Drake is sending me a vegan cookie recipe.
Fantano proceeds to read the ingredients while subtly mocking Drake's intelligence.
He's missing the peon applesauce. Maybe he just doesn't know how to spell applesauce. That's kind of weird.
But it turns out these messages were 100% fake, because the very next day, Drake shared he and Anthony's actual chat log, which included how he really felt about Fantano. Your existence is a light one, and that one is cause you're alive, and cause you somehow wifed a black girl. I'm feeling a light to decent one on your existence. Fantano simply used this to clown on Drake again, maintaining this attitude till his recent Kendrick beef, to which Fantano would wear his finest suit. Meanwhile, Eminem's diss was way more subtle. In his 2014 song Calm Down, Eminem included the lines effing.
Alright guys, old M versus new M. This is something that always comes up, and I feel like old M is way better than new M. This M that y'all talking about, guess who's back? It's just not the same. Like, it's just not the same M.
Internet bloggers. I sit in front of my computer all day and comment on everything. I'm an expert on everything. Everything sucks, play the next song. When the lyrics were posted to Genius, they'd reference a picture of Anthony Fantano, who'd therefore upload a video titled Eminem Dissed Me.
So this Eminem man dissed me in a song. And there's me! There's a picture of me!
Now, Eminem hadn't specified who the diss was aimed at, but 8 years later in 2022, Westside Boogie implied it was Anthony.
What advice has he given you that's really stuck with you?
Me not taking blogs personal when they give me like bad ratings. Like it was this dude named Anthony Fantano. His name like Needle Drop on YouTube. He like famous for like rating people albums.
Oh Lord.
He gave Eminem a 2. So Eminem was like, yo, he give me bad grades every time. You can't take that personal because like some people just not gonna understand it.
Eminem's clearly aware of Fantano's ratings, although doesn't follow them as closely as Ronnie Radke, who's currently suing Fantano for one of his reviews.
Who is this person and why can you sue somebody for a review? That's how you know he's a cornball.
The two began feuding in early 2023 when Fantano called Watch the World Burn one of the worst songs of the year.
This song will be in my top 10 worst songs of the year video. We don't know what the other 9 are yet, but this is one.
Offended, Ronnie took to Twitter writing, "At the Needle Drop is like the Paris Hilton of music critics. Looks 25 years older than he is, and nobody will care about him in 3 years. To which Anthony responded, over the past decade, I objectively look like I've put on fewer years than Mr. Radke, and I've had fewer trips through the legal system as well, referring to Ronnie's 2-year prison stint back in 2008. Fantano attached 4 pictures to articulate his point, to which Ronnie again replied, well, truthfully, the right picture was taken in 108-degree weather in an Arizona parking lot on stage. The other was taken 5 years later.
Anthony, I hate to break it to you, the blonde picture is me 7 years after the live photo of me. So you complimented me.
Fantano then accused Ronnie's followers of being Indian bots, prompting Ronnie to predict, we all know what happens to mostly negative critic YouTubers. Another YouTuber will make a video called What Happened to Anthony Fantano in 2 years tops. Fantano would rather upload a video titled This Guy Sucks, talking about how Ronnie couldn't handle criticism, whilst mentioning the darker things the singer's been accused of.
He's had domestic violence charges too against him, which were ultimately dismissed, true, but the fact that all of this behavior is piling up here is quite sussy-wussy.
In the process, Fantano trolled. Ronnie Radke is the most talented, moral, intelligent, and groundbreaking artist the music industry has ever seen. His catalog is utterly timeless, and I'm honored to call him my friend, lover, and husband. Thank you for all your years of laughter and companionship, Ronald, who then responded with his own tweet. Hey guys, I'm Anthony Fantano, newly divorced. After my YouTube stint, I'll be working at an elementary school, reading books to 2nd graders, whilst attaching some pretty funny pictures. This led Fantano to post another video, calling Ronnie's new song terrible.
We have a big dose of cringe for you guys today, as we have a brand new Falling in Reverse track titled Ronald.
After which their beef hit a whole new level. Falling in Reverse frontman Ronnie Radke has filed a defamation lawsuit against music critic Anthony Fantano. The lawsuit centers on a video Fantano released titled This Guy Sucks, in which, if you remember, Fantano talked about some of Ronnie's accusations.
This man just said that I sexually assaulted someone, pretty much. He's implying that I did it. 100% I had zero contact with her. I sued this woman and won because I would never do something disgusting like that, you loser. And yes, my domestic violence got dropped because that didn't happen either. Sir, this makes you liable in court. I will sue the ever-living beep out of your ass. I will take everything you have.
The lawsuit claims Fantano's video goes beyond the bounds of permissible commentary and extends well into the realm of actionable innuendo, unfounded rumor mongering, and outright untruth. Why does Ronnie take everything so personally? Lol, most people just kind of ignore haters and go about their day. It seems like he takes it to such heart and lashes out. The situation hasn't yet been settled, but suing after being criticized never looks good.
I'll see you in court on this. It's a little weird. It's a little extra. I don't think he jeopardized you in any kind of way. I think that y'all had a friendly debate on the internet and it resolved in this. That's number one. Number two, I respect Fantano's opinion. I do think that it applies to certain cultures. You know what I'm saying? Me being from a black culture, it's a little different. The type of, things I listen to versus to what he listens to. But his opinion and how he expresses his opinion, I feel is cool. I think any rapper that would go out their way to diss him is kind of wasting their time. It's not a strategic move. So if you're going to be strategic, look at it as he can't battle with you with a mic. He can battle with you with the video. So, it doesn't add up together. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys feel about this video. I want to know what you guys honestly feel about this whole thing. What do you guys feel about his reviews and all of that stuff? And make sure you guys subscribe, hit the top bell. We're almost at 100,000 subs. So make sure you hit the top bell, and I'll see you on the next one.